Prime Minister Peter O'Neill pleased with progress of Pacific Games. Port Moresby father pleads for information on missing daughter. And PNG ends undefeated run with gold in League Nines.
This is National EMTV News with Neville Choi.
Good evening. We're at the halfway mark of the 2015 POM Pacific Games. Thank you for joining us. This is Sunday's news. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill is happy with the progress of the 15th Pacific Games in the country. He says the Games spirit demonstrated by countries taking part will be a highlight in the nation's history.
In a statement released by Prime Minister Peter O'Neill, Mr. O'Neill says PNG can prove the capacity to host such sporting event. O'Neill said it's not just the exhibition of sportsmanship but friendship and oneness in the Pacific region. The Prime Minister was thrilled not only by performances of Team PNG athletes but other Pacific nations as well. He commended the public, athletes and organizers of the good display in hosting the Games. Mr. O'Neill called on the country to maintain the support behind Team PNG and maintain the Games spirit. Meanwhile, PM O'Neill brushed aside criticism by the opposition leader and said now is not the time for politics. And as Day 9 of the Pacific Games winds down, no major crime or hiccups have been reported. Police have also commended the public for the good behavior so far. Jagla Power Jr. National EMTV News.
The Pacific Games Council is hopeful that the decision to trial Australia and New Zealand in the 15th Pacific Games is a step toward achieving a continental Games for Oceania. Pacific Games Council Executive Director Andrew Minogue says there is still work and more convincing to do before the Games are recognized for the region like all other continents. Minogue says the Pacific Games Council wants more dialogue with the Oceania National Olympic Committee and the Oceania Sports Federation organization to achieve a long-term strategic plan around how to use the Games for all member countries. The Gulf Provincial Government and landowners have opposed the plan to pipe liquefied natural gas from the Elk Antelope site into Central Province. On several occasions recently, Gulf Governor Havila Kavo said they will not proceed with the idea but allow all processing and refining to take place in Gulf Province alone. Today, Koriki tribe landowners of PRL 15 said they will boycott the project if the government and the developer push forward with the plan.
The pipeline proposal from Elk Antelope in Baimuru, Gulf Province to Central Province has not gone down well with the provincial government and a local tribe. Members of the Koriki tribe who resides in PRL 15 met in Port Moresby today demanding the cancellation of piping LNG into Central Province.
Let pipeline not to come down to Central Province or in Moresby. We are saying no on behalf of the Koriki tribe.
They want all developments of the project, including the processing plant, to be established in the province. The renaming of the Gulf LNG to Papua LNG was also opposed. Calls have been made for the national government and the developer to relook at the proposal to prevent a possible boycott.
At least the developer and the government should relook at the proposed plan. The plan will not satisfy Gulf people and true landowners from Baimuru district.
Recently, Gulf Governor Havila Kavo publicly opposed the revised pipeline plan. He wants Gulf people to benefit from the project. The landowners say they have not been consulted, often feeling like strangers on their own land. Meanwhile, members of the other 8 major tribes in the area remain silent on the issue. Quinten Alomp, National EMTV News.
You're with National EMTV News. We'll have more local stories after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. A distraught father is making a desperate plea to residents in Port Moresby to come forward with any information on the whereabouts of his daughter who has gone missing. 16-year-old Jacqueline Rambu was last seen at 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning attending a Pacific Games basketball match at the BSP Arena in Waigani and has since not returned home.
Jacqueline's father, Philip Rambu from Yalibu Pangia in the Southern Highlands province, strongly believes his daughter may have been abducted on her way home from watching the games and is being held against her will.
Those who can be able to give genuine information will be also rewarded with 2,000 kina. And I don't want the girl to go, not to do anything, not to harm her, not to do anything. I just want her to return, and that's all, because it's very, very young.
The matter has since been reported to police, who are treating it as a kidnapping case. A reward for any information about Jacqueline is also being offered by her family. Mr. Rambu says he has been receiving messages from his daughter's mobile phone, but believes it is not his daughter, as the content and grammar used to correspond is not consistent with that of Jacqueline's. He is pleading for anyone with information about Jacqueline's location to contact Baroko or Hohola police or on the numbers provided.
If she's watching me, that is not going to fight you, that is not going to do anything to you. Whatever that is, just leave it like that, and I want you to come home. I want you to come home safely. Just come home.
Vanessa Knight, National EMTV News.
The innovative agro industry is becoming a primary supplier for chicken eggs in Hela. Producing about 20,000 eggs per day, the industry is now supplying eggs to main shopping centers in Koroba and neighboring provinces. The industry is seeing high demand in the Highlands region.
The demand for chicken eggs has risen to about 10,000 on a daily basis in both Hela and Southern Highlands provinces, a figure described by the industry manager in Koroba as very demanding.
The demand is there.
The chicks are brought into Koroba via Port Moresby from New Zealand and have to reach the farm within 72 hours. The chicks are housed in a different shed and are later moved to this shed once they reach maturity. This shed houses over 1,000 chickens and produces thousands of eggs on a daily basis. Apart from supplying chicken eggs, the farm grows cabbages, capsicum and cucumbers and supplies those vegetables to shopping centers within Hela. The farm employs close to 100 employees, making it one of the main employers in Hela province. The increase in demand for eggs within the province has prompted the industry to look at establishing a hatchery in PNG to do away with importing chicks from outside. Taklagunga, National EMTV News.
Yo, with National EMTV News, we have Trukai Sports up next. We have gold for PNG in Rugby League 9s and all the action in open swimming. All that after the break.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. PNG's chef de mission Richard Kasman believes the country that wins these Pacific Games will win by over 100 gold medals. In an exclusive interview with MTV's Tokana Hasavi, Kasman cautioned PNG not to have an early celebration as the Games are far from over.
Well, day 9, and as Team PNG keeps the medals rolling in, Mr. Kasman gave an insight on where Papua New Guinea can dominate in the last week of the Games.
Tahiti has brought a strong team, swim team, and they're breaking up New Caledonia's dominance. As long as other countries continue to do that, then that's good for Papua New Guinea. But then New Cal are strong in karate, Tahiti are very strong in taekwondo. There's 12 to 15 medals each in those sports. So we need to win the medals that we want, and other countries need to break up.
During the week, the PNG women's VAR team shocked the region and the world, but made the country proud when they won gold against Tahiti, who competed as world champions. As we found out, Mr. Kasman shares a very special bond with the VAR team.
Well, look, very, very personal, because my son is the coach and my wife is the manageress. And I didn't think of that, but tremendous emotion and pride for my son.
PNG chef de mission expects more gold medals to roll in for Team PNG, who already has over 30 gold. But as Mr. Kasman puts it,
it's going to be harder. It's going to be harder.
Tokana Hasavi Jr., National EMTV Sports.
The Oceania Football Confederation Disciplinary Code has declared that New Zealand has forfeited the match against Vanuatu with a 0-3 result. The decision was made following a protest lodged by the Vanuatu Football Federation against New Zealand football following the OFC Men's Olympic qualifying tournament semi-final on Friday. VFF claimed that New Zealand fielded an ineligible player in the match against Vanuatu. Vanuatu will now proceed to the final match of the OFC Olympic qualifying tournament against Fiji. 10 countries, including Papua New Guinea, took to the water at Lolawata Island outside Port Moresby today. The men's and women's 5-kilometer open swimming event. PNG was represented by 6 swimmers, 3 each in both the men's and women's categories. Godwin Eki has this report.
It was all smiles and cheers as the representatives from each country took on a 5-kilometer swim around the marking lines at Lolawata Island. Swimming at low tide with the wind picking up didn't stop the enthusiasm of the swimmers in the competition, as they all wanted to win the race. Although PNG and the other Pacific nations were in the competition and wanted to win the race as well, it was the New Caledonians who led the race from the beginning, with Fiji and Tahiti following behind. PNG was still on its way slowly, heading to watching the finishing line, while great support was shown by the spectators and fans. Team coach Sean Crow praised the team for their hard work and effort throughout the week and for their camaraderie.
All the swimmers, we never won a medal, but all the swimmers swam their absolute best. It's a very hard event, obviously, because it's out in the water here at Lolawata. But it was, they all swam great, and we all came out, like we finished at the pool last night. We all got up at 4 o'clock this morning and came out and supported those 6 girls.
But it was the New Caledonians who took home the gold and bronze for both men's and women's open water swimming, followed by Tahiti for the men and Fiji for the women, both pocketing silver. Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
Papua New Guinea has continued its unbeaten run in the Rugby League Nines in the Pacific Games. Moments ago, the PNG League team put on a strong performance, thrashing Samoa 38 points to 10 at the BSP Stadium. 1 minute into the game, Watova Puara was devastating a minute into the first half. The second try came, the ball flowing along a chain of PNG players until it reached the end of the line. PNG ended the match taking gold in the Nines final. And that's all we have in True Kai Sports. We'll have all the weather details coming up next.
True Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
And a quick look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region only. Port Moresby, Kerma, Poponeta and Alotau expecting mostly fine weather and fine in Daru. And that's been the news, sports and weather for Sunday, the 12th of July 2015. Up next, we'll take you to EMTV's live broadcast of the Soccer Olympic qualifier between Vanuatu and Fiji. From the news team, pleasant viewing. Good night.